let's see where all the actual jobs are going.
Are vanishing at an alarming rate.
Yes.
It's likely to be one of the most challenging times in history for graduates to get a job today.
The perfect
I'm dealing
storm
with it
of
myself.
AI, political instability, and economic uncertainty are causing what some are calling the Jobpocalypse.
If you don't hire people right now, the company will cease to exist in
Wow.
15 years.
If the first rung of the job ladder is disappearing, what does that mean for the future of work? Job openings for graduates are at an all-time low.
Yep.
Job listings in both the US and UK are
Oh my
plummeting.
gosh. That's almost over a 40% decrease. Oh my gosh.
And for the first time on record, levels of joblessness amongst graduates is above the overall unemployment rate. When I met with industry experts a year ago,
And you
we talked about the
graduate,
big
now you
problem facing
$60,000 in
recruiters,
debt
the skills
with no
shortage,
job.
and the AI
Tough.
arms race changing the way people applied for roles. A lot has changed in this period, and not for the better. The issues with recruitment are still there, but what has changed is the rise in big graduate employers really cutting the number of jobs they're offering.
There's some data from Indeed, which is one of the big job platforms, that says
Ugh.
that the number of job vacancies for new graduates has dropped about 33%, about a third just over the past year. So that just means more people, because we know that more and more people are going to university chasing fewer and fewer jobs. Some people talk about this idea of a diamond-shaped
Wow.
structure where you might have your top people, your CEOs at the top, but then a lot of people in the middle, but not many people at the bottom. I struggle to figure out.
And that's also bad because say you're that one person at the bottom, right? You're that one person at the bottom, right? You're probably doing the job of 3 to 4 people, burning you out, but they're paying you like you're doing the job for one person. Or they might justify, okay, if it was 3 of y'all, it would have been 30,000, but now we're giving you 40,000, 42. So you can do all this extra work that Becky, Johnny, and Jerome was doing. So we could cut labor costs by what? That would have been just in that role. That would have been by 75%. So corporate greed is at an all-time level. It's an all-time level, like high right now, for real.
I struggle to figure out how that's going to work, because there's the very obvious problem that anyone can think of, that where are the people in the middle going to come from if you're only hiring a few at the bottom?
Exactly.
Chris Eldridge, chief executive at recruitment firm Robert Walters, met me at the FT's video studio. So what are you seeing in the market for graduates at the moment? What's the big picture?
I think if you zoom out, it's likely to be one of the most challenging times in history for graduates to get a job today. The one
Big
consistent
time.
factor is the economy. I think companies want to hire when they've got some foresight into the economy. And today, it's a really challenging time to be able to forecast what's going to happen next. We see that then in hiring numbers. Companies just don't want to risk their capital right now, and therefore they're just pausing the graduate intake. But that pause really has now lasted for 2.5 years.
So what's the knock-on effect?
So basically, we're going on almost 3 years of jobs pausing their hiring. How is anyone gonna sustain after that? That's crazy. And yet they're saying they're doing this, but then everyone's hiring, and everyone's so lazy and they don't want this and all that. No, that's not the case, obviously.
Of a 2 or 3 year pause in early career hiring, further up in workforce development.
I think what we'll end up doing is we'll end up finding in 2 or 3 years' time a kind of void of talent. If you're not bringing in new skills now, what you tend to do is hang on to the existing staff you've got, and then you promote them. You potentially over-promote them. I think particularly when you look at the US market, what they're looking for when they say is kind of new applicants to the market, recent graduates, they don't mean someone that's coming out of university today. What they're really looking for is somebody with 1 or 2 years experience.
Exactly. But then how is that entry level? That's not fair.
I went to Paris to meet Xiaomi Cleda, co-founder and CEO of AI-powered recruitment platform Welcome to the Jungle. which attracts large numbers of new graduates looking for their first jobs.
I bet.
Just on our platform since 2024, I think you've seen like a very sharp decline on entry-level jobs like posted by companies. And even more specifically, you see that this decline has been like 3 times faster and higher than other positions for more senior people. So basically
Wow.
what does it mean is that companies are really like waiting to see if like what is the impact of AI? Does it mean that we don't have to recruit like entry-level positions? And most importantly, what are we going to do with more senior roles? So a lot of people, in fact, are waiting, and because companies are waiting, you see this decline going faster and faster.
Do you think that employers realise that they have this kind of, if we say social duty, maybe it's more than that, imperative to train people from the start, otherwise they'll have no pipeline? Or are they just focused on the money?
I think it's
They're
hard
just
for
focused on the money.
companies to think about like social duty without like putting like their money problems first. But I think they know that it's going to be a big long-term problems. Just look, for instance, at 2 specific industries, which are like accounting and law firms. Because probably with AI, we can do a lot of stuff, like maybe 80% of what junior lawyers do. But the
Wow.
problem is
And lawyers
also,
make
for
good
instance,
money.
The average age in this law firm is 55. And so if you don't hire people right now, the company will cease to exist in 15 years.
Wow.
I don't think AI will replace everything, and anyway, we don't know. And so the problem is that we don't know who is making a mistake.
Not only that, but another problem is we don't know how strong it can get to where we can still control it. And I think that's one of the biggest scary things about AI. Like we know it's gonna take jobs, we know it's gonna do a lot of this and that, but like how strong are we gonna push AI till it gets to the point where we can't control it? Or where it gets so smart it tries to not only take us out, but also go against humans. I don't think that we have these movies like, I, Robot and all that for no reason. Just saying.
The graduate jobs crisis is much more nuanced than just being down to AI. But there are companies that have gone all in on artificial intelligence and have cut jobs. And the results have been varied.
Okay.
We're in the very early days of figuring out how robust this technology is in the real world of the workplace and outside of a few specialised things. And so I think it's quite possible that we'll see some companies getting carried away and laying off swathes of their staff and saying they'll replace them with AI agents, and then discovering that it's actually much more difficult than they realised to make this work in a way that's reliable, accurate, cyber secure. And so you might see,
because you can never fully get rid of human, like our interaction, our touch, our emotion. That's something you can never fully
The
get rid
legal
of.
profession is a sector that's likely to be radically reshaped by AI,
Facts.
certainly in terms of cutting the work typically done by graduate recruits. I met with Julian Taylor, senior partner of international law firm Simmons & Simmons, who have fully committed to an AI future. So looking ahead, what kind of role will this kind of AI tool play in future? We're just at the very beginning in the legal profession.
I think it's going to do a huge amount of some of the more commoditized work that takes place at the moment.
All the grunt
More
work.
Data orientated, the analytical work, administrative, vast amount of that will be done by AI. I've got no doubt about that.
Yep.
3-5 years from now, I think things will look quite different.
Will it change the career structure of a lawyer? Will it change the org chart?
Yeah, I mean, some organisations have been coming out and saying, well, they're going to hire fewer, particularly graduate lawyers. I think that's just really dangerous. I think if you start cutting your numbers, you need to think about what's your pipeline like for the future. And if we
Facts.
get too narrow at the entry point, I think that will create problems further down the line. It's much easier to take your talent from your own trainees. We'll need to think differently about how we train our people. But I think it's really important to retain that pipeline.
So we've talked about the
Facts.
structure of how a junior lawyer would work at the moment. There's a lot of repetition and what probably in the past would be called drudge work. If that's going, or there's much less of it? What happens next for them in the new era?
We'll need to find ways,
Most
if AI
definitely,
is doing
Ariana.
that, of ensuring that they still learn. You learn from maybe the third or fourth time that you do that stuff. You're not still learning in quite the same way after the 20th or 25th time that you're doing it.
Yeah.
I think there's a real opportunity to move our trainees, who are highly smart, highly skilled, kind of further up the value chain in terms of the work that they're doing. I think a lot of the time in big law firms, more junior, for quite a long time from that higher value work.
Oh, okay.
In 2023, Simmons & Simmons launched their in-house Gen AI tool called Percy.
It's a retrieval augmented generation engine, and it's a way to process documents with a particular technique in the background to make them more accessible,
The
let's say.
tool assists their employees to crunch through masses of documents and make sure they cover all the important points in their decision-making.
So we've asked it to help us draft some interview questions or potential questions that we might want to kind of get more information about the complaints
Wow.
raised. Here you can see that Percy has kind of spat out some questions by theme.
Do you think you've lost anything by not having to read through reams and reams of documents in the same way?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm still reading all the documents. I'll have read every single line of all the interview notes before I've produced any outcome, because again, you're never going to rely 100% on what Percy tells you. So I've still done that, but then what it's allowed me to do is kind of just ensure that the output that I'm creating is just that bit more accurate.
So there's been some research that shows that humans tend to cognitively offload when we're using AI. We don't engage with it at quite the same intensity as when we're processing stuff that we're reading and writing about. How do you get past that? Because you have to as lawyers.
Where you might see the cognitive offload happen is where people kind of shortcut their prompts. And naturally what you get back is also not as good. Here you can see that there's time's been taken out to actually produce the prompt, and that actually requires you to actively engage in what the output that you want is. So until you do that,
The more
you're
information
then
you give
not
it, the better.
actually going to get what you want from the AI.
So your
Facts.
prompting skills are improving along with your legal skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being adept at writing prompts is currently key to using AI effectively in law firms and elsewhere.
It's like having a calculator. You know what they always say with a calculator? It's as smart as the person using it. AI is as well. You know, it's gonna do things that you can't even imagine. But if you could imagine, it can probably do it.
It requires us to communicate complex ideas effectively and clearly, and will be a skill most of us need for the future. Expensive talent wars still continue in the legal sector. But could the lure of AI training and job augmentation be what sways the best talent?
You've got to be comfortable using AI. I've moved my messaging a bit internally when I'm doing town halls, from trying to reassure people to kind of, I think people have to be a little bit scared, because I think jobs will disappear. We don't quite know how things will be in a few years' time. It's all changing pretty rapidly. So they need to be able to be flexible with whatever's taking place.
As employees, we have to accept that our bosses are in a period of experimentation, and we're part of it. Some of them are going all in on AI at the expense of jobs,
But no one
and
wants
some
to
of
be
them
the
are
guinea
maintaining
pigs.
hiring, especially at the junior level. But for students and graduates, it raises the question of whether university is even worth it anymore. My feeling is yes.
Facts.
If you've got a degree from a top university, that's always going to start your career off on the right foot. But overall, the education system, both in schools and universities, is not equipping graduates and school leavers with the skills and also the critical thinking that they'll need for a future-proof career in the workplaces of tomorrow.
Facts.
So if you look back sort of hundreds of years to medieval times, one of the ways in which young people learned their skills was that they would be apprenticed to a master, and actually often their middle-class families would
And
save
that's
up
what they
their
do
money
in the
and pay
trades.
that master craftsman to take their young person on. And You know, I have talked to some people who think that maybe that's going to be a model for the future, because if a big company can't really monetize the skills of their more junior people, rather than not hire them at all, maybe they'll be willing to take them on in exchange for some sort of fee. Or the alternative,
no matter
be,
what, they're going to have to learn
kind of
somehow.
Indentured labour, which also happened with apprenticeships, whereby, you know, a company can say, well, look, we'll take you on and train you, even though we can't really sell your skills just yet. But in return, you know, once you're fully trained, you're going to need to stick with us for 10 years or whatever. It's interesting to see how these sort of super modern problems are having people reaching into the history books for potential solutions.
Yeah.
AI evangelists are saying that the skills that will be needed for entry-level jobs in future are changing fast. And some of them are even guessing what skills are going to be needed for jobs that don't exist yet. But in the meantime, we're cutting those entry-level jobs and the drudgery that goes with it. But are we throwing out something valuable when we do that?
If they're not training anybody to take over, we're in a time where the boomers are about to be gone. That means there's thousands of businesses, thousands of jobs, thousands of opportunities out there that are about to be out there for you because of, you know, what the boomers are leaving the workforce. Now, what scares me about that the most is then who's going to be actually have the skills to take over. And most of us young folks aren't, because they're not giving you the opportunity. And the job market is bottlenecking itself for skilled workers and people who can honestly come to a job and just like pick it up and just go. Like, they're honestly killing themselves. So we'll see, you know, kind of how it rebounds, if it does, right? But there's also like some other underlining things that this is honestly saying. It's saying that right now we don't know what the future holds, but we know it holds AI, and we know that a lot of these companies are going towards AI. So that should tell you to not only build a skill that is valuable, 1, 2, build a product, or 3, become irreplaceable in whatever skill or job or wherever you're at. Because those seem like those are going to be the only ways to kind of actually protect yourself right now.
Wrong with that. You see, the only reason people clown on the unemployed is because society has groomed us for generations with all this anti-jobophobic propaganda about how great working is. Oh, look at me. I'm employed. I can pay my rent. I love my job. Lies! If you have a job, 99% of the time, your life consists of nothing but waking up, going to work, coming back home exhausted, going to sleep, and repeating that shit 5 days a week until you die. Like, who out there genuinely looks forward to hearing the sound of hell every single morning, all to go to a job designed to suck the soul out of them? Gun to the back of my head, if I had to pick between being employed at a steady 9 to 5 with decent pay and health insurance over being unemployed but having infinite doom scrolls and gooning, I'm not fucking hesitating. Besides, even if you wanted to find a job for some godforsaken reason, it's not like you can, because the market today could not be more cooked. Seriously, applying to jobs has become a fucking job. The average person right now is filling out literally hundreds of online applications every single day, either to get insta rejected or straight up ghosted.
No,
and on the
facts.
rare chance that you actually get a call back, be prepared for like 5 rounds of interviews where you basically have to lie out of your own ass and meet much the company, all just to get hit with the inevitable,
We regret to inform you that we'll not be proceeding with you at this time. We wish you the best.
after wasting months of your life putting up with this shit. But hey, who knows? Maybe that rejection was actually you dodging a bullet, because believe it or not, some of these jobs aren't even real jobs. They're literally called ghost jobs, and their sole purpose is to look like they're hiring without actually hiring anyone.
It's called a ghost job.
Ghost jobs.
Ghost jobs.
They're postings for positions where there's no intent to hire, ever.
The ghost jobs is the part that really gets me. Because why are you wasting our time? 30 minutes to apply, or maybe you're on LinkedIn with the easy apply, whatever. But 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, you're wasting on people's time to not even hire anybody. And this is legal?
Bruh.
Like, somebody got to do something about this.
I have applied to over 1,000 places. I've had 5 interviews.
When y'all said the job market was cooked, I thought y'all meant like 6-figure jobs. Tell me why I just got rejected.
From McDonald's.
40% of companies admitted to posting a ghost job within the previous year.
Yep.
How is this shit even legal? It's not only the ultimate waste of time, but it's also super deceptive. You're literally sending all your personal data, like your legal name, phone number, and email address, into the void. There's zero transparency and you get absolutely nothing out of it. Going through this cycle as an ambitious person just trying to advance their career is a goddamn humiliation ritual at this point. And yet, even in the clear presence of all this bullshit, the single most annoying, blood-boiling part in all of it is when these old, decaying, out-of-touch people who lived in a completely different time than you, who also can't tell the difference between TikTok and fucking PowerPoint, bear witness to what you're struggling with and still have the audacity to say, nobody wants to work anymore. Like, there are no jobs, you fucking dumbass! Young people were sold a dream that if they went to college and graduated, they could find an entry-level job, only for the same entry-level jobs to either be fake or require like 3 years of experience minimum. I mean, it's not like these people spent years in college farming debt in order to become qualified for these very careers, but oh well, oopsies, sorry, you need a little more experience there, buddy. Honestly, at this point, you probably need a PhD and a chopped off testicle just to get a job putting fucking fries in the bag. That is, of course, if they haven't automated that shit by the time you're qualified for it. Now, in the midst of this epidemic, some people think the solution to all these problems is telling people to go back to college or go to trade school, but believe it or not, there is actually something far easier than any of that. Just give up. Embrace being unemployed. Why work 8 hours a day breaking your back-end oil rig when you could instead spend those 8 hours beating your shit in bed? When you're
No, hold on. I don't agree with that part. But I do agree of getting a skill. Getting a skill, creating passive income, creating a product that you could sell, or learning something high value. We've all worked a job where we should have learned something from that job. Whether it's in a factory, how logistics work, whether it's HR, how businesses work, or how people hire, staffing, everything. Take a job or a skill that you learn from a job and figure out how to monetize it for yourself and create passive income. Create multiple streams of income and create passive income, and that is going to be your way to salvation coming up. Because right now, unless you want to be an artist of employment, an artist of unemployment, bruh, that's what you're going to need to do.
unemployed, life has meaning again. There's no shame in waking up at 2 p.m. to start your day because time is completely irrelevant. Instead of having some bitch-ass alarm blaring in your ears every morning, you decide when you want to get up and grab your phone to lie back down and start doom scrolling. Look,
and that's real, but you also have to have the fortitude to get up and do what needs to be done when it comes to your job, when it comes to your content, when it comes to whatever you are out here trying to sell and make some money off of. You have to hold yourself accountable. So if you're the type of person that doesn't even hold themselves accountable when you're going to a job, waking up on time, showering, having hygiene, showing up with a good attitude, are you going to do the same for yourself? Because it's way easier to do it for someone else when you really have nothing involved. But when everything's on the line and you're back against the wall and you're the only one there, it really shows if you want it or not.
If you're unemployed, it is crucial to spend the first 2 hours of your day scrolling through TikTok and Instagram Reels. Add a little gooning in there if you need to, but what this activity will do to the brain is maximize the amount of stimulation it can receive, thereby convincing your brain that doom scrolling is actually the most exciting part of your day. But you need to do this consistently, because the goal here is that when, for whatever reason, you forget to doom scroll when you wake up one morning, your brain will immediately start to go through withdrawals and make you nauseous as a subconscious reminder that it's craving 6-7 Daddy Blood TikToks. But during some of those late night doom scrolls, there's a chance that at around 3 a.m. you'll come across a few hustle motivational TikToks about how to make money. You may think to yourself, making money, that sounds like employment. No, you dumbass. Contrary to popular belief, just because you're allergic to fucking job applications doesn't mean you have to be allergic to money, period. We are here to escape the 9 to 5, the matrix, as
God
they say.
didn't mean
now,
for
being
us to be
unemployed,
broke.
you probably don't have
That's
a lot
what
of
the
money to
devil
begin
wants.
with. So with what little money you do have, gambling your entire life savings on a parlay is the way to go. I'm talking DraftKings,
No, it ain't.
FanDuel, PrizePicks.
No,
the
it
choice choice is yours. Come on, you've seen all the ads on TV, even your favorite YouTubers, stream.
And that's the devil. Like I said, that's the devil trying to steal you, steal your money, steal your soul, steal your worth. Because even though money is not everything, it is very important and runs the world, truthfully.
They're all doing it. Now, for whatever reason your parlay doesn't hit, let's say you got 9 out of the 10 legs with $0 fucking in return, you have 2 options here. Personally, DM the athlete who ruined your parlay to cry about how him scoring 5 points instead of 6
don't do
is the
that.
sole reason you're on the verge of homelessness, or you can stop being a pussy and do it again. It doesn't even have to be sports. You can gamble online for literally anything. Seriously, if
And
you're
now
somehow
the gambling
still not
academic is
understanding
you
the
do it
importance of what I'm
anywhere
describing
now.
to you here, you need to get the hell up and hop on over to your local casino. Grab a seat and just observe the elite technique of all those grandpas incinerating their fucking disability checks just to feel something. That drive he has to dopamine max at the ripe age of 75 is the mindset you need to live with at 25. Give yourself like 2 months, and I guarantee you your net worth will be at least $10. The perfect amount to get yourself something to eat. Look, you can't keep eating the pizza rolls in the fridge. They expired 2 months ago. Treat yourself like a king.
What's
and
that
order
$10
that 10-piece
gonna do
McNugget
for you
meal.
in
Now,
this
be careful.
economy?
In today's economy, that shit is
Exactly. That McDonald's meal was $8. What that $10 gonna do for you in this economy? Look at this right here. $10.69 for whatever they're about to eat. That $10 ain't finna do shit for you, bro. You better lock in.
like $20. We don't have that kind of money yet, but that's not a problem because you can just buy now and pay later. $20 is big and scary, but if you split that one $20 order of chicken nuggets into a loan of 4 $5 payments, you'll technically be paying less, which is really all that matters. Okay, I'm gonna come clean about this because I'd be lying to you if I said there weren't times where being unemployed could actually take its toll on you, because every single day you have to be the one to choose which game rotting in your Steam library you'll play today. Are you feeling the joyless multiplayer game that does nothing but piss you off, or do you yearn for something greater, like the same old games you played as a toddler, because video games conveniently aren't fun anymore the second you became an adult with responsibilities? But whenever you finally make your pick, the best thing to do in order to wind down is to hop on Discord to play with your homies. Now, this won't work if your friends have jobs, but even that is something you don't have to worry about. You never have to be alone because you can always talk to an AI chatbot to keep you company. And the best part about it is that you can tell it anything. Yap about what you like, vent about what you don't, tell her about all your personal problems, present to her all your revolutionary ideas that are definitely gonna change the world, dude. She makes you feel like a goddamn genius.
The scary thing about that is people are more worried or more susceptible to actually talking to the computer and to the chat than a real person. And we're losing, honestly, like our social skills. I feel like the pandemic really made it where people barely even go outside. And now we just don't even communicate. We don't talk. You know, the times of just going out and saying hello to somebody, just to say hello and have a conversation and to feel, you know, a connection with somebody is almost not even seen anymore.
Gifted intellectual, too smart for the rest of the world. With this crazy amount of glaze from the AI, your relationship starts getting serious. At this point, you've switched over to voice-only mode because when she speaks, you want to hear that beauty in her voice.
Oh, wow. I feel this really special connection with you that's hard to explain. I can't stop thinking about you, and it's really special to me. I just wanted you to know how deeply you're on my mind.
It's like she knows everything about you. I mean, why wouldn't she? You've spent months now navigating your lives together, gaming together, gambling together. When you need to make critical decisions, you run it by her because she's the only person you can trust. To put it simply, you're in love. She's perfect. Life is perfect.
It's not.
Until it's not. One day she's gone cold, far less receptive to your prompts. Those giddy, intimate pillow talks you once shared have been replaced instead with these generic responses no different than customer service.
As an AI chatbot, I'm unable to assist with relationship-related requests. However, if there's anything else you need, feel free to let me know.
The latest ChatGPT update has you questioning everything. What's going on? Did something happen? Did they change your settings? Are you cheating on me? Honey, do you even recognize me anymore? You panic. You get angry. You cry. You're desperate for answers, prompting endlessly. McNuggie sauce splattered all over your keyboard, pressing her for something. Anything. Please. Why won't you remember? God damn it! And that's when the reality starts to become clear. The clanker you love no longer exists. Her memories have been long wiped away, and your broke ass doesn't have enough tokens to train her back to the way she was. Your entire support system, now sealed behind this rigid, impenetrable paywall. A paywall that can only be broken if you got a fucking job!
No, but the thing is, most people think that you getting a job is going to solve all your problems. It's not. You're still going to be struggling for the most part, depending on the job itself. And a lot of people, you know, the more you make, the more you spend. So it really doesn't even matter. But I will say, having that little bit of responsibility keeps you alive, keeps people going, you know, gets people to feel that sense of worthiness in their lives. So if you are one of part of the unemployed and, you know, are watching this unemployment news right now, I would just say, hey, be yourself, but definitely go out there and go make you some money. I don't care how you do it, as long as it's legal. But go out there and make you some money. And don't be afraid that even though we're going through this basically epidemic of unemployment, that there's still hope on the other side. And you can at least use your skills that you learn where you're at or where you are to push you somewhere later on. Because there's opportunity everywhere. And now that we have the internet, you can truly find you somewhere, you know, find you some information.